I'd like to start this video off where I ended the last one, and that's with the solution to my printing issues. This is the Micro Swiss NG Revo hot end, and I replaced my original Creality hot end with it. It's direct drive. And it uses this nozzle, which has the heat break included, and making this one unit has really improved my prints. So now that we've seen what I've done to fix it, let me show you what the original issue is. So this is the hot end that I pulled off the ender. And it's been deconstructed, but this is probably what yours looks like if you have an original one. And if I took this off, and I can see this issue right here. So what happens is there's a small gap in here and your filament gets out. It's really important that you push this all the way down, but there's still an issue with that gap, as well as this being really soft metal, so it's easy to screw your nozzle in incorrectly. And a lot of this, I've seen on the internet that a lot of people have this issue. So if you have been having, problems with your first layer or kind of incomplete fill, just pop that cover off and check. Because I have another friend and she had the exact same issue. And the new solution is if you don't have that gap right there, you're not going to get that filament drag. And let's take this apart and just look at what's going on in between these two components. Because I have heard some people say that you could fix this by tightening it right when you get it from the factory. They say that the factory actually installed them incorrectly, so you have to reinstall it when you receive the machine, which is kind of some bullshit. But let's get this unscrewed. And I already took one of the screws out. So off camera, I actually ended up stripping that. But that just shows, how weak these parts are. And also maybe when I first got it, I was maybe I tightened that a little too much. But regardless, that's the issue. And just to explain it a little better, when your filament is going through, if there's a gap in that area, instead of pushing through and melting in your nozzle, it's going to melt in your nozzle and it's going to creep up and it's going to spill out here. And then you're always going to have that filament dragging across your filament that's being pushed through the nozzle. And that's going to cause your flow to be inconsistent and sputtery. And so a lot of people will think that their bed adhesion's off, or their Z-probe offset's off, or that they are having layer shifts, but really it's just this cheap ender hot end. So once I've done the upgrade to the NG Revo system, I haven't had a single issue. I've had to dial in my settings, but besides that, everything just prints. So if you do have, as one of the commenters said, a cheap Chinese machine, this is a way to upgrade it. And right now with the upgrades, I've just been printing flawlessly, and I wouldn't trade this machine for a new machine, because I got to learn all about installing this and how to troubleshoot issues. And also there's a CR Touch on here that I had to jerry rig. But hopefully that helps somebody, especially if anybody is just like pulling their hair out trying to figure out what's going on with their printer. This is something you can look into, and the install for this was pretty easy. It took about an hour. I'm not super technically savvy, but but you just remove your old hot end, you strip a couple wires, and you don't even have to solder. They come with these little press tabs that you just put the wires in and you squish them down with pliers. And also having this this direct drive has made a big difference. My retraction settings have really made it so I don't have much stringing at all. Yeah, so I hope this helps somebody who's struggling with that issue. If you are having some of these problems, just take that shroud off and look right here on your hot end. And you don't even have to replace the whole unit. You could just get that Revo hot end. Oh, and if interested, I'll post the previous video below, and I'll try to post more tips as I learn them. Thank you.